shotgun or a large diaphragm condenser? Which mic actually suits your voice and your room? Let's sort you out in just under a minute. So this one's a large diaphragm condenser. This is the OC818. Other large diaphragm condensers include the Rode NT1, Neumann, TLM 103. There's a bunch of them. You could go on and on. They have a big, open, full sound, loads of detail, and they can, if you use them properly, make you sound expensive. I'd use them on things like commercials, audiobooks and narrations, corporate reads, anything long form where you want some warmth and detail. They're perfect if your room is reasonably well treated and reasonably quiet. Now, this one is a shotgun. This one's the Sennheiser 416, but there's also the Rode NTG5 or the NTG4 Plus. Both of those are perfectly good shotguns, and there are plenty more if you shop around. Shotguns are much tighter and much more directional, so they pretty much focus on what's straight ahead of them and reject everything that's happening around here. And they're also hyped. Very much hyped, especially this 416 hyped in the top end, in the higher frequencies, which makes them perfect for promo and imaging work where you really want that cut through and as an audio engineer to get your voice punching and sitting on top. So if you're fighting reflections in your room though, or echoes, or sometimes even if it's not too bad, the late neighbour's lawnmower, then maybe a shotgun mic is a bit more for you. So why does any of this matter? As we said, the condenser, more detail, more depth, more warmth, but they hear everything. A shotgun, tighter, more controlled, but less forgiving if you move off axis. So if you're moving your head around, you can sort of hear that happening. And also, as we said, with some of them or most of them, that high-end boost is really fatiguing on long-form stuff like audiobooks. So I wouldn't be recommending them for that type of work. Which one should you pick? Well, if you've got a quiet, treated room and you're doing lots of commercials and narrations and stuff like that, then I would certainly go for a good condenser mic. If you're struggling with your room a bit and you've got reflections everywhere, dogs barking, kids yelling, a shotgun mic might help, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to your room. You really need to work on your room first, then use that as sort of like the final piece of the puzzle. Thanks very much for joining me this week. I'm Robbo, and this has been A Minute on Your Mic. If you've got anything that you'd like me to talk about in terms of mics in an upcoming episode, drop a comment below. If you need help with your studio, your podcast space, anything like that, check me out at justaskrobbo.com, and I'll catch you next week for another Minute on Your Mic.